Okay, we're picking up whatever chapter this is. It's slide 33. We left off at the SETA, Security, Education, Training, and Awareness Program. What do you think? Do we need one? If we didn't need one, y'all wouldn't be here because it wouldn't be a degree in cybersecurity. Okay, I mean, that's pretty much the short and sweet of it. We have policies. We need to make sure people implement and comply with them. So there's just a lot of reasons why we do this. Okay, it's a control measure used to reduce accidental breaches. We all make mistakes, but we're trying to minimize those, make less mistakes, make people make the right choices. A prior client of mine, Aerospace Reports, they were awesome. If I told them they needed this piece of equipment, they bought it. If I told them they needed a service, they bought it. They were great. I never abused that. I only told them stuff they needed. But I got, they would get viruses, like everybody gets viruses out there. I finally got them trained that unless you're positively sure where that email came from and you were expecting it, don't open it. So they actually got to the point where they were calling me all the time. Okay, and I got another attachment. I'm like, I'm glad. I mean, because I can spend a couple seconds checking out an attachment. But, St. Philip Neri School right up here on Key and 15th Street, kind of just past McDonald's across from the school building? Well, that's a Catholic school. I used to take care of their network. Betty Novak was the principal. Sweetest lady in the world. She called me one day. I don't take care of it anymore. But she called me one day. She says, Ken, I think I got a virus on my machine. No big deal, but if you could come clean it. So what does that mean? She's got a virus, and don't rush. Just get over there when you can. Not a big issue. So I went, not that day. I think I went a day later. Because again, it's not that big a deal. She says, just when you can get around to it, come over. So I went and cleaned it. Now, this is the principal's machine. When kids are in timeout, they get stuck in her office. This is the Catholic school. She had WinFixer 2004, which shows pornography on your screen. So her machine was showing random pornography on it. It wasn't because she was surfing pornography, but that's the virus she got. And I'm like, seriously? You literally had this virus and you said it's not a big deal? And you're the principal of Catholic school? She goes, oh, I just kept closing them out. I'm like, no, that's not good, especially when you have little kids that are on timeout in there. But for the most part, my clients did a really good job. But that virus, and I tell you, I still remember that. I could not clean it. I ended up formatting her machine. It was the craziest virus known to man. I couldn't get rid of it. So it involves education, obviously. Training. I was prior military. I worked on a flight line with aircraft. Okay? So we did fire extinguisher training all the time. Think that was needed? I was never involved in a fire. But I was ready. Every X number of days, months, weeks, whatever it was, I had to go out there, listen to the spiel, have them light this thing on fire, and we had to put the fire out. That's the closest I ever got to a fire, other than a backyard grill. But again, I was trained on how to take care of it in case need be. Okay? Awareness. How many people know what you should click on and what you shouldn't click on? Trust me, a lot of people don't know. Okay? It says, enhances security by improving awareness, developing skills and knowledge, and building in-depth knowledge. Last summer we did that Gen Cyber camp. Did anyone know about that? We taught everything from elementary school all the way up to high school and teachers. We had a 2-week summer camp. We're doing it again this next year. So if you got kids, please bring them. It's all free. We're thinking about something new and different that no one in the nation's doing. A cybersecurity camp for kindergartners. Nobody's doing that. Just let that thing think in for a second. What do kids do nowadays?
Tablets.
Shut up, play on the stupid machine here. So what if we could start getting them to just real basic security. I mean, that would be the perfect place to start. Because the NSA actually runs that program, pays all the money. They basically market it as K through 12. K is kindergarten. No one's got K. There's only 4 elementary camps in the nation. We were one of them last year. So, but just think if we started this training earlier. Sorry, when I was a kindergartner, we didn't have phones. But one of the people down in our office was telling us that grandma, whatever, was playing on her phone and got some pop-up of something. And the little kid's like, oh, grandma, just click OK. It'll work better. Was that the right choice? Probably not. But obviously the kid's not going to be able to read what the issue is. But I mean, just think we actually start building something that low. Start getting this stuff into elementary school. Start getting it where people know about it. So, kind of something cool we're going to be doing. If I can get this thing to advance. Okay. So education says everyone in your organization needs to be trained and aware of information security. Do we do a good job of that here at Rose State? When's the last time you all got an information security email? That would be never. I don't think we do a good job. But that's not my job. Okay, not every member needs to be a formal degree, but we need to have some sort of, somebody needs to be trained at least. Not everybody has to have a certificate, stuff like that. When formal education is deemed appropriate, an employee can investigate courses, can go to them. Obviously, you guys are here for this. Hopefully, how many of you are forced to be here by your parents? None of you? You actually chose to be here? Which is good. I mean, that's a good sign. That's a start.
Well, my dad wanted me to be a program, but I came here to be a start.
Well, that's good. That's good. In that summer camp we did last summer, I asked that same question. Elementary school, there was a couple. High school, there was a couple. But even if you don't want to be here and you are here, you're picking up something. I'm a firm believer that every single class you go to, you're going to get something out of it. As long as you're willing to learn. Back when I was in the military, I was a supervisor. And I had people below me in the military who didn't pay their bills. So I had to send them to financial management, workshops, stuff like that to learn how to balance a checkbook. Well, how do you know if they go? I would go with them. I've been to budgeting and credit score so many times. I'm darn pretty good at it now. But I think it was awesome. My credit score is 832 or something, and it's just because I know how to manage that stuff now. If I hadn't gone to all that training, would I be as good? I don't know. Okay. Obviously, there's a number of universities that have courseware. Imagine that. Okay. So training to provide members of the organization with detailed information and hands-on instruction. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is more of a lecture class than anything. I know it kind of sucks. Not all classes are this way. Some of the classes are excessive amounts of hands-on. Wait till you get to my forensics class. You'll be begging for less hands-on. They're working on a 2-week project this week. I only give 1 2-week project, and there's a reason why it's a 2-week project. You need the entire 2 weeks. You better start on it day 1 to get it done. And it's funny. No one's in that class, are you? No one? There's a problem with it. It doesn't work. Step 1 doesn't work. You have to ask me for something, which I'll give to you immediately. It's amazing. 6 people out of 22 asked me what's wrong with step 1 so far. So what's that telling me? 6 people have started it, and we're on Wednesday night. You ain't started yet. So I sent an email today. They're probably wondering. I said, yeah, amazing. Only 6 of you have started yet. They're probably like, how does he know that? Trust me, when you start, you'll know there's a problem with it. I have them go to a website and download a specific file. That website happens to be down. It's been down for a couple weeks, and so I just give you the file. It's not a big deal. But you need the file to do the rest of it. So, all right. So, management of information security can develop customized in-house training. A lot of places do that. I attended a forensics class in Dallas, March, April, May, sometime last year. And it was funny because I went to this company that provided breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which is kind of cool because the class was all day long and included labs at night. Well, the class was set up for like 13 people. 4 of us showed up. Because the other 9, at the very last second, opted for a special private class. Okay? They're actually employees of Raytheon. So what was funny was this entire week-long class, they didn't update the count of people for food until the last day. We had so much food. You could, 13 people's worth. They would bring in, basically a pizza per person. And it's like, every person gets 5 Schlotsky sandwiches for lunch. It was crazy. But what they had done was, at the last minute, they're like, some of the stuff we want covered in the class is special to our organization. We don't particularly want to air it with outsiders, so they got a specialty in-house training, which was fine. They probably paid a little more for it, I don't know. But man, I brought so many. I still, to this day, have some of the M&Ms in my drawer downstairs. They gave us cases of M&Ms. I hate regular plain M&Ms. They're boring. So they're in my office. So if anyone wants them, come to my office. I got some M&Ms for you. Still got peanuts, too. I had cases of those. But they had this pasta. This company brought this really amazing pasta. And they brought little take-home metal containers. So we all filled up, and we had freezers in our room, refrigerators. So I froze them all. And on the way home, just packed them all in the middle of my suitcase. It was only a drive from Dallas. Got home. I think we finally ate the last one just recently. They were good. But yeah, so they had in-house training. I don't know. A little off topic, but not much. But okay. So alternatives to formal training include conferences. I was at a conference last week. I did not want to go. I've been on too many trips. I've probably been to, within the last 12 months, I've been to 12 conferences or training classes. You know how old that gets? But I learned a lot this last week. That was an amazing conference. So I'm glad I went. And now I have global entry, which is TSA pre. So every time I go through the airport now I get TSA pre, no more shoes off, no more belt off. Oh, it's amazing. I love it. All right, yeah, there's a lot of conferences out there. There's one, I think, November 1st, Innotech downtown is free. There's IWS, Information Warfare Summit, which this year they're actually charging for $20. It's normally free. It's put on by the FBI. The reason they're charging for it is because they have such a large no-show rate. The problem with free stuff, what happens? Oh, I want to go, it's free. But the day of, I didn't really pay nothing for that. And something's playing at the movies that looks awesome. I'm just going to skip. So they're charging $20. I mean, you get this amazing lunch and breakfast and a t-shirt and training and.
Where is it?
Just search for IWS. I think that one's being held at Moore Norman Technology Center. Information Warfare Summit, number 9. It was really amazing. But Innotech's down at the Cox Convention Center. That one's free. Even if you just go to collect all the junk. Virginia said, hey, can you pick me up a stylus while you're there? I sent her a picture. I had a shirt on with a pocket. The entire pocket was like overflowing with styluses because all the vendors are there. There's like 150 vendors, so you walk around and get all the stuff. But no, I've been to conferences all over, and some of them are really amazing. I've gone to the one in Vegas the last 3 years in a row, so I hate going to Vegas. Sorry. Okay. All right. One of the best frequently implemented but most beneficial programs is the Security Awareness Program. So if I can teach you how to put out a fire, maybe if there's a fire, you can put it out. Makes sense. If I can teach you how to not click on a virus, maybe you're going to ask somebody instead of clicking on the virus. Okay? Dr. Hendricks, our VP of Academic Affairs, I've cleaned your machine so many times. Our ex-president, Dr. Terry Britton, somehow has my personal email address in the contact list somewhere. I'm getting Viagra from him all the time. You know he's got a virus. Because I keep getting it. It's like, jeez. So, all right. So, security awareness is designed to keep information security at the forefront of users' minds. I keep reminding you daily. Okay. Need not be complicated or expensive. Maybe we're just going to go around and, beginning of each semester, actually in each fall, we have the library comes out and tells us what they do. Just comes to our division meeting and says, we're here from the library, and here's the services we offer. Well, in the past, they used to have these stupid skits, but we remembered them. Stuff like that, kind of cool. Just something stupid that you might remember. Okay? All right, it says if a program is not actively implemented, make your own. But if you don't have one, employees might start to forget about stuff. I know I got to change my password, so I'm just going to change the number 1 to a number 2. Probably not the best plan. Okay? All right. Education, training, and awareness. Impact of education, hopefully long term. Training might be immediately. Awareness could be short term. So, really, I'm setting up videos. We all love watching YouTube videos. Has anyone ever watched one of my YouTube videos? None of you? I must have 8,000 of them now. Because basically I record every class. I have a video up there. I'm going to show it. You got to watch this. We're not watching it today. It's too long. Go to this awesome website I found. It's called YouTube. It's part of Google, which is another awesome website if you've never seen it. Type in Kenneth Dewey, and there I am. That's me. So cybersecurity, and do search. Where's search? Channels, playlist. Come on, I know there's a search here. About, subscribe. Basically every single class. What?
Go down to the right of the about box.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Type scammer. SCAMMER. There's a video from 3 years ago where somebody called and said, oh, you have a problem with your machine. We need to fix it. I recorded it. I did everything they said. I used fake identities. I even brought up a virtual machine. It's pretty awesome. But be careful. I'm going to warn you right now. There's a small amount of profanity in there. Because he tried to become my friend. Hey, what'd you do this weekend? Did you go out and... that kind of stuff. Okay? Be careful. I'm sorry, I didn't do it. But it's in there. So watch that. It's kind of interesting. There's about 15 minutes before I started recording. But just watch the recording part. It's pretty good. You'll enjoy it. It's kind of funny. And there's another one my wife just posted on Facebook where she's been getting these phone calls from this company. We know it was bogus, so I called them back this last week. And she recorded my phone call. It was the IRS. Well, accidentally I screwed up on my taxes and I owe them $80,000. But they're willing to settle for $20,000 right now. That was nice of them. And if I don't pay right now, they will literally have me arrested with the sheriff in 45 minutes. So I get pretty crazy at the end there, and he says, "That's it, sir. I'm going to send the sheriff out, not in 45 minutes. They were going to be there in 30 minutes."
All 15 minutes left.
I'm like, okay, I'm waiting. Still haven't arrived. I'm still waiting for this guy. But yeah, it's on YouTube. It's somewhere out there. I don't know where she put it. But funny stuff. But yeah, watch that when you get a chance. It's like 44 minutes long. But yeah, the thing is, I was inside a virtual machine when he was inside that, and he kept trying to blank my screen, but it wouldn't blank. So I get to keep seeing what he's doing. But if he'd even looked, that was a forensics machine. It had all my forensics tools in it. Had no data on it. He's like, "So what do you use the machine for?" "Oh, I use banking, I transfer money, I store all my credit cards." They were like, "Oh, really?" So yeah, you need to watch that video. It's kind of funny. Okay, so maybe a quick video will get someone's attention. Okay, I do mystery shopping for all kinds of different companies. This guy calls me, wants me to do a mystery shop for a wire transfer company inside Walmart. So they're going to send me a check. I'm going to cash it. I'm going to keep some of the money, transfer it to Bulgaria somewhere, and report on how the service went. They sent me 3 checks, $3,200 and 2 for $1,900 each. Cashier checks. Got the first one. Never told him I got it. Calls me up. "Dude, never received it." Sent me a second one. "Dude, never received it." Sent me a third one. They kept sending me these checks. I got them in one of my, I think it's in Computer Security. I got a picture of them in there. But, yeah, it's just funny. But the problem is, if you don't know better, so, okay, say you do mystery shopping. "Hey, we're going to pay you $500 to go to Walmart, transfer some money. No cost out of my pocket. Cashier's check's good. It's going to cash." What do you think is going to happen in about a week? It's going to come back invalid, and then my bank's going to say, hey, Ken, that $3,200 check you gave us was bogus. You owe us $3,200. In the meantime, I kept $300 and sent $3,000 to Bulgaria. I'm out of the money. My son knew better. Online, bought an MP3 player for like $200. Never received it. Through kind of like Craigslist kind of thing. Never received it. So he calls or emails the guy, dude, I never received it. You know, you cashed the check, obviously. Where is it? Oh, we sent it. I don't know why you didn't get it. He's like, you know, I got it right here. I know you cashed the check. I want my. He goes, I don't know. He goes, I'll tell you what. Send me $200 more, and we'll send you another one, and then refund you the first one. That doesn't even make sense. It was stupid. Luckily, my son asked me and didn't fall for the second part of that. But I mean, no, it's not going to work. Okay? All right, let's move on. All right, contingency plans. What's going to happen if we get a tornado? What do you think? Like right now, if we get a tornado right now, you think we got a plan for it?
Disaster recovery plan.
Yeah. Well, we have it like Rose State, for instance. Yeah, we got some stupid colored charts back there we all should be reading every day.
I didn't even know they were there.
They're there. Well, we have radios downstairs that they are supposed to, you know, they could call. We have the phones. Those are supposed to go off too. So we do now have something in place, which is good. Because we had a tornado went through the communications, and now I guess it's called the Hudeberg Center. I lived on base, right by the gate on Sooner Road when the tornado went through, and was it 95 or something? 94. Awesome. Me and my son are sitting out the back window, and it's swirling in the backyard. Then we finally jumped in the closet. But it was funny. But okay. So incident response plans. What are you going to do in case something happens? After something happens, how are you going to recover from it? We had a massive virus outbreak. How do we recover from it? Business continuity plans. Okay, how are we going to continue to function? So this building gets burned to the ground. So we just cancel all my classes for the rest of the year? Sorry, dudes, I know you paid your money. No, we got to come up with a plan. How are we going to handle it? Okay? Yeah. Everybody gets in it. So an IRP, immediate response. Something happened. What do we do? There was a breach. We call so-and-so. There was a virus. We disconnect the machine. That kind of stuff. Okay. Disaster recovery, restoring it. Something happened. We need to get power back on. What's that pipeline broke out east in Alabama? I guess they can't fix it, so they're building a temporary one around it or something. Now gas prices are going up because there's no gas in that area. So some on the news this morning about it. Yeah. Yeah, because they rely on one pipeline. So, all right, continuity plan says concurrent with disaster recovery. You know, okay, something happened. We got to recover from it. So how are these places getting gas? You know, I was talking to my wife, who was actually quite a bit younger than, not quite a bit, but she's younger than me. She didn't remember. She was a kid when I was a kid too, I guess, but I was a little bit older. Years ago, when we actually had gas shortages, I mean, they literally were rationing gas. It was like, you know, you were only allowed to get 2 gallons of gas. That's all you could get. I remember being in lines for hours just to get 2 gallons. And you could only buy gas if your license plate was on an odd number today or something. But so that was the plan to continue to operate. Okay? All right. So here's just a picture of what we talked about. So the continuity strategy is before planning can actually begin, a team has to start the process. Somebody's got to be in charge of this thing. So the president of the college needs to say, I want you all to make me a plan. That's probably all she's going to do. She's going to pick someone to be in charge of it, but she has blessed it. She has now said, you know what, you got my support. We're going to get this done. It's going to have some managers to promote it. They need to be behind it. Okay? I was up in Missouri teaching a class to a bunch of teachers. And someone was talking about their IT strategy. We were in an ESM class. But their budgeting process of their campus is, we get the budget. So we get how much money we got this year. Immediately buy all technology that's needed, not wanted. We buy all the stuff that's needed, and then we divide up the rest of the money to everybody else. That's what I think of that plan.
In IT, it's sweet.
In IT, it's sweet. We need a new server. We're not going to have to worry about there's not enough money to buy a server. If we can justify it as a need, we got the money for it. So it also was in another class once with a guy, Zoltan, whatever his last name was, from Texas, Richland, Texas Community College. They got a grant through somebody, and we were all so mad at him. So we were talking about what equipment we should buy. He's like, oh, I got a grant. Unlimited funds to implement my program. Because I got more money than God right now. I must be nice. That's what he was telling us, because this grant was whatever you need to implement your program. That'd be awesome.
I worked for Crow and Dead Levy in the mid-90s. We had literally a dump truck full of money. If
Nice.
you need more, we got another dump truck. We were one of the first businesses in town with a dedicated T1 line.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah. So it's nice, but not everybody can do that, okay? So we have project managers, something to manage this whole thing. Team members, managers should be IT, should be customers. Quite a few years back, I remember they rolled out a new firewall here on campus. They actually did it again this weekend, by the way, Sunday. But they rolled out a new firewall on campus, and there's something called Westlaw. I don't know if you ever heard of it. Westlaw is the online legal database. You must connect on port 8080. That's the port it uses. The college decided to block that port. It wasn't needed. So obviously classes start, major problem. We're like, didn't you involve your customers in your planning? Oh yeah, we had some faculty members. Obviously not from the legal department. You might have had a nursing instructor, but not a lawyer instructor. So, all right. So get everybody involved. Okay. So, all right. So we kind of talked most of it. So we got an incident. How are we going to react to it? How are we going to continue to function? Are we going to have alternative sites? You know what I think would be awesome? I don't know. This might be in place. I don't know. We're a state school. OKCCC is a state school. Maybe we got some plan in place. Hey, if Rose State has a total catastrophe, you can use our classrooms over there. And if they have a total catastrophe, we can, something like that makes sense, doesn't it? At least in the short term, we can continue to function. So I don't know what we have in place here. That's not me. But we could do something like that. So the contingency planning, it says, the policy state, what are we going to do? Okay. Conduct business impacts. I was talking to a class just last hour, and it was kind of funny because I was on the red carpet team at Tinker. What the red carpet team did was, if somebody came in, a dignitary or somebody came in and needed a network access with machines, on very short notice, the red carpet team made it happen. So I was on this team that we never got implemented. Never. But we did once. It was a training run, which was awesome. They were like, all right, we're going to be activating the red carpet team, and here's your instructions. And it was awesome, because it literally said, okay, Ken Dewey, this is go to room 2. Take monitor from leftmost desk. Grab it. Go to room 6. Take 5 mice. Go to room 9. Take 2 printers. I mean, literally, we all showed up at the chapel and put it together, and it worked. Wow, that actually worked. We had a functioning network within like 2 hours, which is kind of cool. So that was an example of a plan that was made, obviously. It was tested, obviously. I don't know if it was updated. That wasn't my job at the point, but it was kind of cool that we actually had something that would work in case of... I mean, the people we came in and stole their stuff were not very happy. But this letter basically says, Ken Dewey has permission from the commander to steal your monitor. Okay. Sorry, Peyton. Look on hers. Okay. All right. So conduct business impact analysis. What's going to happen if we do this or whatever? Preventive controls. Hey, you know what? Should we update our antivirus maybe? different strategies, different plans, test the plan, train the plan, exercises. Can't test everything. Okay? We're not going to blow up a building to see what would happen. But again, we could have a fake fire. Not a fake, but we could literally have the fire department come and light something on fire so we could put the fire out. That's a perfect example of testing. Then maintenance is the plan being updated. If your plan says install McAfee 2.0, what's the odds that that plan is going to last for very long? McAfee 2.0 is probably 3 point something the next month. So it needs to be updated at all times. Okay? So form the team, and that's what we just talked about, all the different steps. Oh, and then training and so on and so on. But maintenance of the plan is the big issue. Okay. Actually, we're going to check on that right now. We're going to go to this awesome internal website, www.int.rosa.edu, and we are going to look under Information Technologies. Okay, now we are going to look for Policies and Procedures. Let's look up our computer usage policy. This is a bunch of stuff. Ooh. Didn't I mention this last week? That I had Brad do it in December 2014? I don't know if you can see that in the back. Brad did it in December 2014. When's it reviewed?
Annually. Have you checked
Same
the
as the
elevators?
elevator.
So I told you I wasn't sure if they're actually redoing it, but at least it's there. But yeah, I'm willing to bet all of these are the same way. Let's look at the web policy. December 2014. Might need to send Brad an email. So the problem is that whole maintenance, that's the get you.
Have you seen the elevators?
Yeah, I know. They're outdated by over a year, I think. I did tell the dean, by the way, and he's supposed to contact somebody to...
They're the same date, aren't they? December 2014?
But I know they were out here working on them just recently. But, we even have a disaster recovery plan now. So, wait. Let's look at the date. Where's the date? Give me a date.
Fiscal year 2015.
When's it going to be updated? Oh, this guy doesn't even work here anymore. That's not good. Yeah, I don't see a maintenance plan for this plan. This is the plan I was telling you about that, I know what happens in case of something. But you died. Well, he knows. And he knows. And then the other guy in the other building, this is the plan. At least it's in writing now. And it's something. But yeah, we might need to get CD backup. How do we get backup?
With XP.
Yes. No, I contacted them. I said, I really need to make a backup. And they're like, all right, we will bring you an external CD-ROM player, go buy some CDRs, and back up your stuff.
What?
That sucks. So I use this company. Carbonite. I pay $54 a year, unlimited backups. I have a bunch of junk up there, trust me. Lots of stuff. Okay. So, again, I don't make nothing from them, but you never want to back up until you lose something important. Yeah. I was telling the last class about it. I worked for Chapel Supply. They sold pressure washers and stuff, and they lost some data. So they signed up for the service. And it was funny because the guy we bought it from was actually at the meeting with me today downtown. But signed up for the service. And that Aerospace Reports, one of the clients of mine, where I told them they want to buy something, they bought it, which was awesome. It's great to have a client like that. So I told them about this service, and they bought it. No big deal. They do title searches for aircraft, kind of like a mortgage for a house, but think of it as a mortgage for a plane. From every time the plane was built until today, who's owned it, where's it gone, everything about that plane is stored. Well, it was all stored electronically. Well, they deleted the letter D. They stored them alphabetically. The letter A, then all the records A, by tail number. All A's, all B's, all C's. So D probably literally had millions of records in there. They deleted D. And they're like, stop. Oh no, we lost everything. So Vicky, the lady in charge, called me and says, Ken, it's not your fault. We deleted D. And we really need D back. I'm like, hey, here you go, 5 minutes. I went to the server, went to our backup. It was similar to Carbonite, but a different company. Went in there, click restore. I said, give it 10 minutes. She goes, what do you mean give it 10 minutes? I said, go look. She's like, D's back. Not totally, but it's partially back already. I says, yeah, you remember that service I told you about, that backup service? I'm using that. She's like, oh my God, that's it. That is going to be our #1 budget request from this point on. She paid for it, but she basically said, we will make sure to keep that bill going. Because it was that much. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. You need something that, they literally had, picture this classroom with nothing but filing cabinets all the way around were converted to electronic records. Then you lose them all. How long did it take them to make those? I don't know. But you're not going to be able to get that back. So that's what we're talking about here. Okay. All right, contingency plan, introductory statement, statement of the scope. Why are we doing this? That way if someone looks at it, oh, okay, that makes sense. That's why we're doing it. Okay? Some of the major components, requirements to test it regularly and maybe update it regularly. And actually do it would be a handy thing. Okay? Key regulations, key people involved, challenges to the member, and administrative information. So all that should be in there. Impact analysis. What happens if we lose this PC right here? I unplug that one, move it over here, and continue. Not a big deal. What happens if we lose the main PeopleSoft database? Probably a little bit more critical. Okay? That kind of stuff. Okay? So business impact analysis. Assume security controls have been bypassed, have been failed, something happened. How are we going to succeed? How are we going to fix this problem? And you should think of that. We lose the business building. We did. Last summer we lost this building. It was under maintenance. So what did we do? We moved to HES. Some people moved to the math building and so on and so on. So we had a plan, but that was not really a loss of a building, but it technically was. Okay? I didn't know I told you this, but we were asked a theoretical question yesterday. What happened? Could you finish your classes a week early? In other words, give finals a week early, or give them online. I said, yeah, because our downstairs floor, did you ever look at our floor down there? Did I tell you about that? Our floor looks like crap. Walk downstairs and look at the floor. They've replaced over half the tiles already, and they look like crap. So they are going to replace the entire bottom floor again in December for 5 weeks. We're not going to be allowed in the building for 5 weeks. And they're worried that if we give them after finals until we open again, that's kind of tight. So they want us to maybe get out a week early. Problem with that is I can't get back in this building for 5 weeks. It's going to suck if y'all need to come see me. Like, oh, you can do office hours from home. Okay, we got Ken over here and needs to come see me. Luckily, I have an online chat thing I do, which I do all the time. Yeah, all right. So, scopes, plan, the balance, knowledge of objectives, all this stuff needs to be in there. It says, determine the mission, identify the recovery priorities. What are we going to recover first? Okay. Identify resources. What's it going to take to do this? Should we keep spare parts around? Now, I had many clients of mine when I ran my business. Should I have spare components? What do y'all think?
Depends.
I think we should, but to an extent. And what are they? Am I going to have a spare $10,000 server sitting there? Probably not. But I could have a warranty on it with 4-hour response time, which I did have. What about a router? I could see having a spare router, a spare switch, a spare something, spare monitor, yeah. Here we have spare computers. So, yeah, that kind of stuff. Okay. So we have normal operations, something happens. How do we recover, and then how do we get back to normal operations again? Okay. All right, incident response planning. It says the incident response planning includes identification of, classification of, and response. What happened? Was it a virus? It affected one machine in the business building. Okay, that's easy enough to fix. It infected the entire email. You remember the I Love You virus? Some of you might have heard about that one. This campus got infected by the I Love You virus way too many times. But they would just turn off the mail server, clean it all up, turn it back on. I had to clean up the NIMDA virus once. NIMDA was one of the first viruses that actually infected via files, via emails, via network shares. It was like a three-pronged attack. I was cleaning it up for this, I can't remember the darn company's name downtown. The only way to do it, unplug the network. Clean all the machines and then plug the network back in. Because if one machine was infected, it went through the network and found every other machine reinfected. I worked on that thing for hours and hours and hours. Wasn't quite done. I needed a break. I went home to sleep, come back a couple hours later. One of the managers came in. Oh, I just need to send something real quick. Plug back in the network. Oh, man, lost everything. It's like, are you kidding me? Y'all heard of the Code Red virus or the ransomware that's going out there now? We actually got infected on campus a couple of times. I didn't know that. What they do is they just wipe your machine. Hope you have a backup of it. I'm like, oh, okay. That's why I have my own backup. We had a faculty member here on campus lost some critical information. Hard drive crashed. No backup. So, you can go to those backup, the places that will actually recover data. We're talking thousands of dollars to get this data back. Cross-stitch instructions. That's what it was. It was cross-stitch instructions. We get the hard drive back. I mean, I wasn't involved in this, but I heard about it. They're like, yeah, we paid all this money. They kind of made it sound like, oh, my school files are on there. But no, they wanted their cross-stitch instructions off that machine. It's like, are you serious? But isn't that crazy? Okay. So the incident response is more reactive than proactive. We really can't plan for an explosion. We're going to, we just had one, how do we fix it? I mean, you can do some, but it's not as much. Okay. All right, so statement of management commitment, that's a big deal. You always need that. You always need the president or someone up says, I want you to do this. That kind of stuff. The scope, the purpose, definitions, all that stuff. Reporting, who are you going to report to? I had a breach at when I ran my ISP at my house, had a SQL injection attack, and a bunch of credit card numbers got stolen. Reported to the OSBI, reported to a bunch of people. The owner of that system says, I will never, ever report that ever again if it happens. You wouldn't believe the nightmare. We literally had to take the server offline and ship it to New York for like 6 days for them to look at it. So I had to move everything on the machine. Oh, it was a pain. It was such an issue. So he says, we will never report that again. Never, ever. That's the problem. Most organizations today do not report things. Okay? Think about it. The press behind it. Target gets broken into. First of all, don't shop at Target. But the deal is, once the word gets out, you had a vulnerability or something happen, people lose faith in you. Okay. Okay. All right. You should have a team. Okay. All this kind of stuff. But again, it depends on the size of your. Do we have an incident response team here at Rose State? No. But I'm willing to bet our IT services would be involved in fixing whatever happens. Okay. Okay, the plan, the format, context, storage, testing, all that stuff should be involved in your plan. Testing, again, is the big deal. Does it actually work? Detection, how are you going to detect? Is it through a virus scan? Is it through someone reporting it? I was leaving, a week or so ago. Right outside our building, there was a kid down there smoking a cigarette. I said, hey, dude, smoke-free campus. I don't know if I told you all this, but, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm fine. And a little while, I told you about the girl hiding behind a bush smoking. Did I tell you that one? Yeah. One of the faculty members wouldn't report that. What about this? What if you don't want to? Ooh, I don't want to report that. I might have to do something. We're actually having an incident going on campus right now. And I had to go to HR today about it. And they asked the question, what's the chance this person wouldn't report it? I says, very high. Because it involved their boss. You don't want to report your boss. Because your boss is good to you. Your boss lets you go home early, comes a little bit late. So you're not going to report your boss. So, that's the same kind of thing with an incident. I click on a virus. If I close it real quick and delete it, no one's going to know. How do we know what it infected? It might have infected the whole network. You need to report it. Okay? Okay. The reaction, what do? Do you call the president? Do you call Obama? I actually had a call from Biden's office once about our cybersecurity program. Like, this is President Joe, or Vice President Joe Biden's office. I'm like, really? Yeah. So, yeah. Who do you notify? When I was in the military, we had those recall rosters. Anyone here in the military at all? A couple of you? The rest of you, slackers. But basically, we had this thing where every now and then they say, oh, there's a recall. They'd call you at 1 in the morning, and you have to call 2 people, and they call 2 people. Soon they all show up to work within 30 minutes. Okay? Those sucked. But there's a reason for those. Okay? Same thing here. There's an incident, who do you notify? Okay? Do we document it? What documents I hate documentation. I'm one of those, I get this major problem, I figure it out, thank God it's over, and I move on. 6 months later, crap. Same problem again. How did I fix it last time? If I had written down how I fixed it, it's too late at this point. So, some of my projects for forensics are tricky or complex. So I'm trying my best to write down the steps I use when I create them so that the next year or if I have problems with it, oh yeah, I did this and then this and this and this and this. Y'all know Inception, the movie Inception?
Yeah.
What is Inception?
A terrible movie.
Terrible. You fail.
Oh, okay.
Basically, it was,
Within the dream.
yeah, it was kind of like a dream inside of a dream inside of a dream. One of the projects, that was one of the pictures they had to recover. So if you're doing steganography where you're extracting something from a picture, and you extract Inception, the picture of Inception, what would you do? Think about it. So you're extracting something from a picture, and you extract it, and it's a picture of the movie Inception.
Go watch Inception.
Oh. You would check and see if there's something inside of the picture of Inception, because inside of. One guy goes, dude, I don't understand. It's a picture. But Inception was a dream inside of a dream inside of a dream. So it was a picture inside of a picture inside of a picture. And yeah, quite a few people got it, but a couple people just couldn't quite understand that. So that's how my projects work. They're awesome like that. All right. Yeah.
LDS back in the 70s.
But they change every year, so that project will no longer be used. That's why I can tell you about it. So isn't that terrible? But we'll come up with something new. Okay. This year it was sheep. Was it sheep? It was sheep. No, it wasn't sheep. No, this year was Batman, Star Wars. There was like superhero movie character stuff. Iron Man. Yeah, that was the pictures you had to get. So we had plans. Me and Roy think these up, and they're elaborate plans. Okay, so different strategies. Containment of incident scope of impact is first priority. We got to solve what happened. We got a virus. We got to stop it. Okay. They can stop incident and attempt to recover control through a number of strategies, obviously. Okay. Once it's contained, figure out what happened, and then recover from it. Okay. The full extent must be determined. What did it actually do? Did it really just infect this machine, or did it propagate through the network? Okay. Repair vulnerability. How do we get infected to begin with? Did someone bring a USB drive? I brought this up from my office. You guys use flash drives here. Do they make y'all check them anymore? We did at one point. Tinker, it's like the cardinal sin to plug in a USB drive. Don't do it. They're literally like
They don't have them locked out.
partially. But they can't lock them out because some things require it. But my wife works out there, so she has an external drive that is blessed to be used. So she can plug that in anywhere. But if I was to plug in this, whoa, be done. I'd be calling Obama or somebody. So, all right. So address shortcomings. What are we doing? Why did we get infected? So, now it still gets me. Terry Britton, like I told you, has the Viagra virus. I keep getting emails. You would think, first of all, I'm not the only one on his address list. I guarantee you. The other members on campus are. Bigwigs. Why aren't they cleaning it? I realize he's no longer the president of the campus. And they say, hey, Dr. Britton, got a virus. Let me come clean it for you. No, they don't. So, I get it again. You watch it in a couple of days. I have another Viagra email. All right, damage assessment. What happened? Okay. Computer evidence must be carefully collected, and that's in another class. Okay. Individuals who assess damage may need special training. It's funny, I was actually doing a job over by Northwest Expressway with Chad Johnson. He's actually the guy who works for the NSA now. We're up in the attic running some wires. We're walking on the beams. I'm like, Brad, be careful. Whatever you do, do not step right through the ceiling. I'm like, darn it. And literally right up to my knee. Scraped the heck out of my leg. Big old hole in the middle of their ceiling. And didn't get it. We had to finish the job, so I literally just left it and went to the doctor the next day. They're like, when did you do this? I mean, big old hole. We're talking massive one. Oh, yesterday. Like, you realize it's too late now. We can no longer stitch this up. It's been like nearly 24 hours. Oh, well, so I got a big scar now. Okay. But yeah, do you need special training? Okay. Automated response. Those are good. IDSs, stuff like that, can come up with, at least hopefully help. Okay. Downsides of automated systems. There could be legal liabilities. There could be ethical issues. Oh, you had a virus, we immediately format your machine. Probably not the best plan, because you could have something on there. Okay. Disaster recovery plan. We're getting close. We're getting around town here. It says preparation for recovery. Preparation for and recovery from a disaster. What happened? How can we get from it? Okay. So when systems are classified as disasters, plans change. Okay. Maybe we want to secure the most valuable stuff, like it says here. Okay. Reestablish operations somewhere else. Okay, business continuity. How can we continue to function? We had a disaster. How can we continue to function? Okay. You can think of like your house. You got two cars. One car dies. What do you do?
Drive the other.
Drive the other, or share.
Fix it.
Or fix it. That would be a good one. That's a business continuity plan. We still need to get to work. We got jobs. We got school. So they say, whoop. Sorry, dudes. Car broke. I'm done working here. It's probably not going to be a good plan. Someday, though, I'm going to be at McDonald's. I told you guys that story. Someday. You can see me there. My plan's going to be to quit. Okay.
Go to the one on North Boulevard. I want to see it when he quit.
I'll let everybody know. It's going to be awesome. That's my plan. Okay. Offsite storage. That's what I use Carbonite for. It's offsite. I don't have to worry about it. And Rotate has no problem with me using it. I'm paying for it. Then makes sense. That way I can. And another benefit of having Carbonite, obviously I can restore my data. But say exactly, I can be on a cruise ship and log in and get a file off the server, which is kind of nice. I've actually done that a lot. Okay. Number of strategies for planning for business continuity. It says determine factors. There's just a lot of stuff you can do. Basically, hot site, warm site, cold site, kind of a thing to think about. Hot site. Okay, we have an issue. We can move in right now and continue to function. We're up at 8:30. That's how long it's going to get there. We're functioning at 8:30. Warm site. Maybe we got computers in place. We got some power going. We got internet. Maybe I got to restore a couple files. Maybe configure a few things. But we're up by 9 o'clock. Cold site. I got a building. That's about it. Okay. But still, a cold site's better than nothing. Okay. When I was at that conference last week in Boston, one of the camps in California bussed in the kids from all over up to an hour away. Well, the buses they rented were air conditioned. They thought. 114 degrees on day one. and the buses had no air conditioning. And they're like, oh no. So they went to the company, and they said, oh, we got. No, I says, but you said you had air conditioning. So what'd they do? They found this out at 3:30 in the afternoon. They've contacted another bus company, got an entire new contract with another company with air-conditioned buses in time to pick up the kids at 6 a.m. the next morning. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
20 grand cash on a credit card. Luckily, his personal credit card could handle it. Because they're like, no, we ain't taking a PO, especially for something happens in 8 hours. So he did it, and they obviously refunded him. But that's kind of we got to do something. We can't transport kids at 114 degrees with no air conditioning. We did our summer camp, and our bus had no air conditioning. I had to make 3 trips back and forth to Tinker in June. 95 degrees. It was hot, but it wasn't 114 degrees. Since I had the ID, I was the one driving back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It sucked. At least the other people, we drove to things, they got off and got into the air-conditioned buildings and stuff. No, I stayed on the bus back and forth and back and forth. Oh, it sucked. Okay. Timeshare. I don't know. Do we have a timeshare somewhere? Do we? Something like that. Mutual agreements. I think something with a local school would be awesome. Maybe we could have something with Middale schools. We already own Traub, so we could use Traub. We do for the kids camp. Offsite disaster storage. To get sites up and quick, an organization must have the ability to move data to its new location. Must have a copy of your data. Okay? All right. Database, shadowing, journaling, all that stuff's available. In other words, make copies of it. Okay. Crisis management. Yes, sir.
It said offsite disaster data storage, but what if you have a bunker on site? Would that be...
That's good as well. When I worked in software development at Tinker, whenever we made a change, like came up with the next version, we made 2 copies. 1 copy was stored in a bunker on Tinker. 1 copy was stored off of Tinker. And it's funny. Let me see if I can find this. I don't know if it's still there. For the longest time, way out here, it's not there anymore, way out here off Indian Road, there was a shed in someone's backyard labeled as Tinker Air Force Base. And it happened to be William Cochrane's yard. How did that happen? It's not there anymore. But it was somewhere right out here. So it literally came up and said, Tinker Air Force Base. I'm like, seriously?
South Douglas Boulevard, right?
Let's see, Newalda, no, let's see. No, because it was literally right out here somewhere. It was literally a shed marked Tinker Air Force Base. I'm like, what? How could that even be true? Yeah, they must have. But it was the craziest thing. I said, William, you live at Tinker. What? I said, yeah, look, your shed's marked Tinker Air Force Base. Okay, all right. But yeah, normally you make 2 copies of everything. That's the best bet. Our plan here, they were going to make our backup in the basement of the Huderberg Center. I don't know where it is at the moment, but it's going to go back in the LRC when they finish building it. That's going to be a hot site, basically. What they're going to do is they just replace some of the equipment over there. The old equipment is going to be still in use with the backup running on it. It's going to have key things like HR, financials, a couple terminals to do enrollment. Not obviously the whole school, but at least to keep functioning. All right, crisis management, what do you do? Preparation. One thing they don't really mention there is how about media? Do you immediately call the news channel and say, Rose State College is infected with the I love you virus? You know you're going to be the butt of every joke in the world. Okay. All right, so timing. It says keep personnel and families, what to do with them, support them. It says determine the impact of normal business operations, keep the public informed. There's the media at the bottom. What do? Do you notify the media? It always comes through somebody, okay? Alert roster. Okay? Verify people are there. I could tell you stories about that, but we don't have time for that. But, sometimes people disappear. Okay? Okay. So we talked about these different plans. We pretty much, they've been they're leaking out. There's a small leak back there. Different sizes, obviously, would have different plans. Do we call the cops? Possibly. Really depends what it. Child pornography, yes. Money laundering, yes. Do we click on a virus? Probably not. Okay? That kind of stuff. Okay? Alright, I think we're benefits and drawbacks. Agencies might be better equipped, but they also might get. Like I said, that client of mine who had the server got the credit card theft. He said, I'll never call them again. It's such a hassle. Okay. Alright, so once they've taken over the case, the organization cannot control the chain of events. Once you call the cops in, it's pretty much over. It's up to them what they do from that point. A lot of times, though, with computer-based stuff, they don't want anything to do with it. If it's not a theft or something, they don't care about it. Okay? Alright, we're done with Chapter 4.